Hi, this is attorney Nicole Christie from the Christie Law Firm, where we work to make families stronger. So I wanted to talk to you today about mandated reporters. We have another video about DCF in schools, but I wanted to specifically go over mandated reporters. So in Connecticut, there is a specific law around mandated reporters. These are individuals who have to report a concern of abuse or neglect. They don't have to investigate it. They don't have to have evidence of it. They don't even have to have proof. All they need to have is the knowledge of a possible abuse or neglect of a child. And so the way that the law works is that they have to make a report. They have to submit that report to DCF. DCF has to accept or reject that particular report, and they're the ones that make a decision as to what happens to that report. But a mandated reporter, on the other hand, does not get to make a decision as to whether or not to report it. And so in this video, I will talk about who are mandated reporters, what is the actual law, and the consequences of not reporting. So mandated reporters in Connecticut are certain individuals, and so I'll give you some large categories, but the law, gives very good details as to who are mandated reporters. So first and foremost, teachers, anyone working within a school that has access to children. So that includes coaches, that includes the nurse at the school, that includes the counselor at the school. Then there's also individuals who might coach a particular type of school activity or non-school activity, just anything related to children. So for example, a coach, even if it's an intramural sport, it's a town sport, or it has nothing to do with the school, those individuals are mandated reporters. Your doctor, the nurse practitioner, the APRN, anyone that has to do with and come in contact with kids that work in that medical field, they are mandated reporters. Police officers are mandated reporters. Family relations are mandated reporters. That's an interesting one because they don't have to be there. They didn't have to see it, but if they get a report or they learn of something that has to do with a child was exposed to perhaps domestic violence, or a child was hurt in some way, they have to make a report. Another interesting category of individuals are the clergy. So a pastor, a priest, anyone that is ordained is obligated to make a report. Physical therapists are obligated to make a report. So it really covers a broad spectrum of individuals. I think one of the few people that are not mandated reporters are parents themselves or attorneys. But in essence, there are many people, and especially if your job has to do with children or comes in contact with children, those individuals are mandated reporters. And what that means, as I said in the intro, is that they have to make a report. They're not responsible for ensuring that the report is accurate or making sure that they even have any of the information correct. They just have to make a report. And so what the law says is that if they don't make a report, they can be fined or even face a period of incarceration. And we have seen that happen here in the state of Connecticut, where an individual was held accountable for not making a report when she knew of a concern of abuse or neglect, and she was actually convicted of that. And so you don't want to have a criminal record as a result of failing to make a report. But I do understand how hard it is, especially if you don't have all the information, you're not quite sure, you don't know how accurate it is. Perhaps the child is telling you something, and sometimes that child makes up stories and you're just not sure. I want to relieve you of the idea that you have to be sure if you're a mandated reporter. The only thing you have to do is report. And you can remain anonymous. It's a part of DCF's policy that you can remain anonymous to the parent. So you provide the information. You want to make sure you document. Don't call in and not give your name and say, well, I made a report. There'll be no record of it. So you want to make sure you give your name, your number. And so DCF will be following up with you, but they are not obligated to tell anyone or tell the parent especially who made the report. So keep that in mind. And to parents, understand that it isn't, for some people it isn't personal. For some people it's not, to come lash out on you. I'm not saying that that's not the case for everyone. There might be someone who, has an issue and takes up an issue and uses DCF as a way of dealing with whatever their issue is. But for the most part, when someone is faced with the possibility of incarceration and the choices are between criminal conviction, incarceration, or making this report, most people are going to just go ahead and make the report because it's important to do. Again, the main purpose of this mandated reporting is to make sure that kids are safe. It's to make sure that if there is a concern, somebody sees it and there's somebody to do something about it. They report it to the agency that's responsible for ensuring kids' safety and well-being. Now, how they go about it might not be the best in most cases, or in some cases I should say, but nevertheless that is their responsibility. So as parents, be aware that when the kids are going back to school and they're talking to their nurse, and also I should add therapists are mandated reporters. So sometimes they go to see their counselor, and if there is an issue, the counselor has to report it. So keep that in mind, and if you happen to be a mandated reporter, you're not sure if you should make a report, don't hesitate to contact our office and we can consult with you about what to do. But nevertheless, you want to err on the side of caution because there is a criminal component to not making that report of abuse or neglect, and you want to avoid that. But more importantly, if a kid is actually being abused, if a kid is actually being neglected, that kid is going to have a very difficult time in life and even as an adult. And if we as a society can do something to help that child, most importantly help that parent help that child, then we should be doing so. And if it does require making a call to DCF, it's not the best avenue, but it might be the only avenue to making sure that that kid is going to be okay and that that parent gets the support and help that they need. So if you want more information about DCF investigations and substantiations, please check out our other videos. We have a lot of videos about DCF, and hopefully if you are a mandated reporter, you never have to make a report, but if you do, just know that the law is on your side. If you're a parent and in receiving this report, understand that whoever made it was probably a mandated reporter and they had no other choice. All right, take care, and until our next video, bye-bye.